Can you hold two distinct worlds in your head at the same time? The world that you left and the world that you're in? Or does it thin you out and mean you're not really present in either one? When I'm traveling, there are times when I feel desperate to record everything, knowing that it might be my only opportunity. I need to squirrel the experience away and save it for later, not just for me, but for everyone and anyone to enjoy at their leisure. I want to share and prove the existence of a landscape so fundamentally different from the one I normally inhabit. But sometimes desire makes invisible that which was made to be seen. The photographer's relationship with the future viewer and the viewer's relationship to the past photographer remove both from the spaces in which they are physically present. Are we meeting somewhere halfway in between? My self-consciousness is heightened anytime I put a camera up to my eye. My focus is less on framing the image inside the viewfinder and more on how I assume I am being viewed by everyone around me. Even in my hometown, the camera seems to make me indistinguishable from a tourist. I empathize with the discomfort that some people feel when they do not have control over their own image. I never feel ready for the camera either. I stare at my hands when embarrassment overwhelms me. Seeing them calms me and grounds me. They are a part of me and they are me, more so than my face, which I can only see by looking in a mirror or a photograph. My face is for other people. My hands are mine. My hand, fragmented and unlovely in the frame, reminds the camera what it is and that it is being held. I am both subject and object. You, the viewer, are both camera and projector. On this trip to Japan, I'm intentionally slowing myself down. I decide to put away the camera and audio recorder and draw, forcing myself to really look at my surroundings. Instead of focusing on the beautiful, I'm taking the time to look at the overlooked. Rather than glancing at something and moving on, I mentally trace my finger around it, resisting the urge to look away. I question my expectations by drawing lines from one point to another. I try to have the humility to erase the marks that I put down when my assumptions about how things should look don't match what I see. I'm also looking back at the photos I took on my last trip of these same spaces. They similarly force me to stay rooted in one spot while allowing me to look all around. When I think I have seen everything, I look again. I don't want the act of looking to be a luxury, but rather a condition of presence. In Hamada City, the familiar melody of the flute, drums, and cymbals looping over and over beckons everyone within earshot. We follow our ears to find the Iwami Kagura dancers repeating complex patterns as they have for generations, circling the stage again and again. We have seen the god behead the serpent countless times, and yet we look forward to it with anticipation. The stories based on legends have been performed for over 1,000 years, but the attraction of spectacular costumes and sword fights is still strong for kids, teenagers, and adults. Once the sole domain of Shinto priests providing entertainment for the gods, Iwami Kagura is now performed everywhere and anywhere in this town and is taught to anyone who has interest. The tradition manages to adapt to history, surviving things like warring states and religious censorship during the American occupation, because no matter how many times the stories are repeated, we who watch are just as much a part of the action, and therefore there will never be a performance exactly like this one. The Kozo plants that grow in Shimane Prefecture are the raw materials that make the washi paper in this area so special and strong. After the leaves yellow in fall, the plants are chopped down, steamed, stripped, dried, soaked, boiled, cleaned, and beaten before they become beautiful sheets of paper. While machines and imported materials assist with some of the steps, most of the process is still done by hand, with seasons and weather dictating the rhythm. The gods and monsters of ancient Japan were similarly born out of the landscape. The flooding of a local river, whose waters are rich with iron ore, became the eight-headed, eight-tailed serpent whose tail contained the sacred sword of Japan. In America, can we be united in our diversity by becoming more connected to the places in which we live? Can we be both mobile and rooted, blending history, legend, and land, but open to change? The washi paper making process feels like it grew out of the soil, like the kozo plants themselves, but even it was imported, albeit over 1,000 years ago. Is cultural unity impossible as long as the land carries a price tag? When our diversity is entrenched in the fact that reparations for past injustices have never been made? Or will we be able to blend differing experiences of the same landscape into one image, as your brain is doing right now?
Folks, thank you for joining us today. Welcome to Columbia. They will be utilizing